I never thought that a simple relationship could unravel into something so twisted and emotionally exhausting. But looking back now, every sign was there. I just didn't want to see it. I'm 27, and about a year ago, I started dating a guy my age. He was sweet, romantic, and thoughtful in ways I hadn't experienced before. From the very beginning, he made me feel special. I still remember the day he asked me out. He bought me my favorite comic book and tucked a little sticky note inside with a handwritten confession. It was cheesy, but it melted my heart. For 2 months, everything felt perfect. We had so much in common. We laughed constantly, and he always went the extra mile to make me feel loved. But there was one thing I hadn't experienced yet: meeting his childhood best friend, Sid. She was also 27, and he was honest with me early on. They'd had feelings for each other in the past, but had decided to stay friends to avoid ruining their bond. I didn't think too much of it. I trusted him, and I figured if they had decided to remain friends, then it was old news. Everything changed one evening when he texted me out of nowhere. He was distraught, saying Sid called him and confessed something shocking. She told him she couldn't handle watching him be happy in a relationship with me. Her exact words were basically an ultimatum: break up with me, or she'd cut him out of her life completely. I remember sitting on my bed, phone in my hand, staring at the screen in disbelief. A grown woman, who had supposedly moved on, was giving him such a childish, manipulative choice. I told him exactly what I thought. She's being controlling. This is toxic, I said. But instead of agreeing, he snapped back, it's not that simple. And that's when my heart dropped. He was actually considering it. We decided to take a break so he could think it over. For the next 2 weeks, I felt like I was living in limbo. The man who had once showered me with attention and affection was suddenly distant, barely texting, barely calling. Meanwhile, I was here, frustrated, angry, and hurt that he was even hesitating. We were in a happy relationship, and he was debating whether to break up with me because his jealous friend couldn't handle her feelings. 2 weeks later, he finally reached out. He told me he'd made a decision. He chose me. He said he was cutting Sid out of his life. But by then, something inside me had snapped. It shouldn't have taken him 2 weeks to choose between a healthy relationship and someone's manipulative ultimatum. I couldn't look at him the same way anymore. So I ended it. His friends called me selfish. They said if I had broken up earlier, at least he could have stayed friends with Sid. But I didn't care. I was done. Months went by. Sid cut him off completely, blocked him everywhere. He started begging me to take him back, even writing me a 2,000-word letter about how I was the best thing that ever happened to him. That's when I found out that he and Sid had actually slept together once in the past, something he'd conveniently forgotten to mention. At that point, I felt nothing but relief that I'd walked away. 10 months later, I was in a new relationship with Cole, a kind and responsible guy. We even moved in together to share rent in our expensive city. I thought I'd finally left the drama behind, but my ex didn't let go. Even after being blocked on everything, he started leaving gifts on our doorstep: flowers, chocolates, love letters. He'd never talked to me face to face, but the constant deliveries made me deeply uncomfortable. I felt watched, creeped out. Cole, strangely, didn't see a problem. He actually felt bad for my ex. He told me to just keep the gifts instead of throwing them away. Sometimes he'd even eat the chocolates himself and read the letters like it was some kind of joke. I didn't understand why he was so relaxed about my stalker ex. Then came my birthday. I came home from work to find our apartment covered in balloons, flowers, and decorations. My heart skipped a beat. I thought Cole had surprised me, but no. My ex had buzzed the building, and Cole let him in. He let him decorate our home. I felt sick, violated. What if my ex had hidden something? What if he was watching? I told Cole how unsafe I felt, but he just brushed it off, saying my ex had gone through so much effort. That night, lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, I felt something was seriously wrong. Not just with my ex, but with Cole too. His behavior wasn't just weird. It was dangerous. With the help of my brother, I confronted Cole. I was prepared for excuses, but not for the truth. What he told me shattered everything. Cole had been stalking my ex. He created multiple fake social media accounts to follow him, egg him on, and push him to keep pursuing me. Every time my ex posted something sad or desperate online, Cole encouraged him through his fake accounts, not to help, but to mess with him. He admitted he found it funny to string my ex along, to give him false hope, to watch him waste money, chase after me, and fail over and over. My fear, my discomfort, the gifts, the stalking, it had all been fueled by Cole. My kind, responsible boyfriend had turned my ex into a puppet, all for his own amusement. I felt like the air had been sucked out of the room. My hands shook. I realized that for months, I'd been living with someone who was just as twisted as the man he was mocking. Cole didn't care about me. He cared about the control, the game. I packed my things that night and moved in with my brother and his girlfriend. Cole didn't fight it. He just stood there, looking defeated. I told him to be out within a week, or I'd call the police. I filed a report to document everything and started the process of moving out permanently. It's been a long, painful journey, but one thing's clear now. I ignored too many red flags. I stayed because I crave stability and kindness after so much chaos. But real kindness doesn't manipulate. Real love doesn't hesitate. And trust, once broken, can't be rebuilt on lies. I don't know what's next for me, but I know what's behind me. Two men who showed me exactly who they were. And this time, I believed them. When everything finally settled down, I found myself sitting alone in my room one quiet evening. The chaos had ended, but the silence felt heavier than anything. I looked back at everything. The trust one gave, the boundaries I crossed for love, and the way I kept choosing people who wouldn't choose me the same way. For the first time in a long while, I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't waiting for an apology or hoping for someone to change. I was just honest with myself. I realized that love should never come with conditions or ultimatums. Real love doesn't make you feel like you have to fight to prove your worth. It wasn't easy. There were nights I cried quietly, mornings I woke up with a heavy heart, and moments where the loneliness almost pulled me back into the past. But slowly, piece by piece, I started rebuilding. I reconnected with parts of myself I had forgotten while trying to hold everything together for others. I started setting boundaries, not to keep people out, but to protect my peace. I learned to listen to the small signs I used to ignore, to trust my gut, and to walk away when something didn't feel right. And most importantly, I learned that healing isn't about forgetting what happened, it's about accepting it, learning from it, and growing beyond it. Today, I don't hold grudges against anyone. They made their choices, and I made mine, but I'm finally at peace with letting go. Sometimes, walking away is not weakness. It's strength in its purest form. So if there's one thing I've taken from this whole journey, it's this. Never shrink yourself to fit into someone else's world. You deserve a love that chooses you every single day, without hesitation. And until that love finds you, choose yourself.